Imagine this for a moment. I was once speaking in front of 50 people. It was at a private networking event. And out of the blue, this woman gets up with a really angry face and starts literally chucking really negative statements at me. And I'm just stood there frozen still. She walks out of the room, slams the door shut. The whole audience is just like, what the hell's happened? And I'm just there shocked, red in the face. I went home that night. I just felt so depressed. And I told myself I got to learn how to really win the audience. Because that's really where I struggle the most, especially with an introverted background. I never really understood how to create a very much a likable speaker character. And it wasn't until I learned about the 5 steps I'm going to share with you today, I began to really win the audience over. But most importantly, hook their attention. Because the moment you do this, you'll notice the audience are so receptive towards your message. So be sure to pay close attention to every single one of these steps. It's designed to work in unison. You cannot just do one. It's got to be working step by step. Give this a shot and let me know in the comments box below how you get on once you've taken action. Without further ado, the first thing you got to do, the moment you've gotten up, is you got to make them laugh. That Korean girl in the middle, she eats food on webcam, makes 9K a month. So when you're stood there, the first thing you should do is you should crack a joke. Make sure it's funny. Make sure you've tested it, by the way. Comedians, if you've ever watched documentaries or in regards to how comedians become funny, this is how they become funny. They model other people's jokes. For example, they've heard in bars and pubs and they try it out in a small audience and they'll chuck loads of different jokes that they wrote down or remembered off by heart. And then after that, they'll begin to figure out which jokes actually makes people laugh and they'll get rid of the jokes that's terrible. But you want to actually have some jokes memorized in your mind that will make people laugh. Situational jokes tend to work the very best because it seems very spontaneous. But make people laugh because it makes people loosen up. The second thing you do straight after that is you're going to get free round of applause. Can you guess why? The reason being, by the way, is because some people, you may have noticed when you're giving a presentation are like this, they are crossing their arms. Problem with that is closed body language equals a closed mind. And let me ask you, with a closed mind, can you be receptive towards new knowledge? Definitely not. And they're not going to be open towards your message. So you want them to clap. Give them a reason to clap. Normally what I do is I say, give a massive round of applause to the organizer for setting this event up. Come on, let's give a round of applause. And then they'll be all giving a clap. And then I also say, all of this event that's been set up by the incredible team. So let's give a massive round of applause to the team. And then they'll give me a massive round of applause to the team. And next one, this will be a joke, and I'll say, oh, you can give me a round of applause as well, come on. And they all just start laughing again. So it's really good, you're making them loosen up. The next thing you want to do is now free hand raises. It goes something on the lines of this. I'll say, just by show of hands, before I get started, I just want to see who's in the room right now. Hands up nice and high if you want to grow your business right now. Hands up nice and high, and I'll go like this, and everyone raise their hands. And I'll say, hands up, by the way, if you're currently not in business, but you would like to start a business. Hands up nice and high. And some people's hands will go up and I'll say hands up nice and high if you have no freaking clue, and they'll start laughing again. So you're really loosening that up in the first 60 seconds, which is a must.
Put your hands up right now if you've got an online business. Put your hands up right now if you haven't got a freaking clue.
Do you see the power in this, by the way? So the fourth thing you got to do now is you got to do an open loop for the content you're about to reveal. You tell them what you're about to tell them. This creates anticipation. The reason why dopamine is released whenever somebody's gambling is because the anticipation, the possibility that they can win. So when you build up the anticipation for your content, they're getting the same dopamine rush that they will get from sex, they'll get from gambling. So you got to make sure that you build up the anticipation in regards to how powerful the strategies will be.
With over 7 billion people, we've only scraped the surface. Only scraped the
surface.
But here's the big change that's coming. Between 2016 and 2020, we're going to see the entire world connected to the web.
Make them feel excited by showing that energy as well. It's so important. And the final thing, the fifth thing, is I go into a story. I say, before I get started, is it fine, by the way, if I quickly share with you why you should listen to an Asian guy with a British accent? right? So if I want to make them laugh again, I'll probably say something like that. Or if I'm at a serious business event, which I'm invited to quite a lot nowadays, I'll say something like, before I get started, is it fine, by the way, if I quickly share with you how I managed to go from pretty much nothing, starting out as a entrepreneur, to now creating multiple successful businesses? If that's fine, just say yes. Exactly. Now, before I continue, do you mind if I just share a bit about my story of how I really got to where I am today? So I'm getting them to actively engage, and everyone will say yes, and I share my 10-minute story or 5-minute story, depending on how many hours I can speak at an event. The reason why you want to do that is because a story creates connection. And you want the audience to connect with you, and they connect not with your content, but you as a character. So during that story, I'll be basically chucking character flaws and so forth. So by the end of it, they'll be very receptive towards my message. You do this, you've won the audience. And I've spoken on stages all around the world, as you may know. And it's very important you master this skill in terms of winning the audience, hooking their attention. So be sure, Insider, to follow these 5 steps. The first step is crack a joke. The second step is make sure you get 3 round of applause. The third step is to get the hand raised, okay? Get them actively engaged. The fourth step is to open loop, build anticipation. And the fifth step is make sure that you tell your story if you can, okay? If they allow you to have a little bit longer time to speak, share a quick story about your background. So I hope you found today's video helpful. If you have, Insider, if you'd like to know more about public speaking as well, let me know in the comments box below. And also like this video if you've liked this video today. And if you got any specific questions about public speaking, comment in the chat box below and I'll get back to you. As always, follow your heart, my friend, and take action and go to the life you truly want to live.